Senator Alexander. Senator Casey.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for calling the hearing, and I want to reiterate what was said earlier. We're grateful for Senator Kennedy's leadership. He leads when he's here, and he leads even when he's not physically here. We're grateful for that leadership over a generation. But thank you for calling the hearing, and I think it's, in my judgment, entirely appropriate that we meet here today to talk about not only this legislation, the Employee Free Choice Act, but in a broader sense, talking about what the American family is living through, the trauma of this recession. And this is a hearing to explore the economy, to explore jobs and how we create jobs, how we create some kind of economic security for families that don't have it. And one of the best ways to ensure economic security for the American family is to be a member of a union, in my judgment. We have a lot to debate about this, and we will, but we also have to put some basic facts on the table. Now, when it comes to this legislation, the other side has done a very good job over the last couple of months in making their arguments. I'll give them credit for political skill, but what they haven't told the American people is what happens here. This is very simple. This legislation, the Employee Free Choice Act, gives workers two different ways to choose whether they want a union, through an election process or through a majority sign-up. So there is a choice for the worker in the workplace. I come from Pennsylvania. We've had a lot of tough years watching people be trampled under by corporate power, going back to the beginning of the last century. But unfortunately, we still have some remnants of those problems. I know in Pennsylvania, for example, we had a problem with healthcare workers where they would try to form a union, and the employer would bring in one of those paid white shoe law firms or union intimidation firms to intimidate people from forming a union. I've seen this up close, okay? We don't want that to happen in the rest of the country, but unfortunately it is. This legislation is one way to make sure that we help workers join a union. So this is a process, and far from the arguments we've heard across the last couple of weeks and months, this act doesn't abolish the secret ballot election process. That process is still available. It would still be available. The bill simply enables workers to also form a union through majority sign-up if they prefer that method. Again, we have a choice. I'll read it again. The choice is an election or through majority sign-up. That's the choice that's presented. And we know from our history, when people collectively organize and bargain for their rights and benefits, that is just good for that worker and his or her family and that group of workers. It's good for the American economy. One of the reasons why we've had a strong middle class, which has been the envy of the world over a long period of time, even though it's taken some hits lately. The middle class has had a couple of hammer blows applied to it. But one of the reasons why we've had such a strong middle class, at least since World War II, despite the setbacks recently, is because we've had organizing in unions that help build the middle class. So that's what this is about. And I'd say, finally, one final thought here. I believe this issue, the issue of allowing people to collect, to organize, and to bargain for their rights and their benefits. This isn't just a labor issue or an economic issue. I believe this is an issue of fundamental justice. And this country was best, and is always best, when we appeal to our sense of justice. And we've done that in the past. We don't always do it, but we know we've done that in the past. We'll continue to do it. And I'm reminded what St. Augustine said a long, long time ago. He said, without justice, what are kingdoms but great bands of robbers? And if we don't have economic justice in this country, and one of the ways to get there is to have strong unions for our workers, for our families, and for our economy. And if we don't support that basic principle, we will be a country of a great band of robbers, and that is not in the interests of justice.
Senator Merkley.